Guys, it's John Ribs coming at you with a daily Slay the Spire chat. Today I want to talk a little bit about Feel No Pain. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 4 block. This is an Ironclad power. It's an uncommon, so you might see, one or two in a run. Some runs you won't see any. But it's a card that you'll see over the course of your runs, and it's a card that's very difficult to evaluate, I think, at first glance. If you can compare it to Metallicize, which I think a lot of people would agree is a pretty strong Ironclad power, this is just much more clear what it does. It gains you 3 block at the end of your turn. Okay, cool, I understand that. Feel No Pain, whenever a card is exhausted, gain 4 block. What does that mean? Like, how often do cards exhaust? Does that mean I have to build an entire deck around the concept of exhausting cards in order for Feel No Pain to be good? Or is Feel No Pain good in just like any old deck? I think these are questions which are pretty difficult to answer without a lot of experience playing the card and building Ironclad decks. And so I wanted to share my opinions about the card, which are that it is like absolutely fucking bonkers, insane, ridiculous, and stupid, and I don't ever pass this card ever, and you shouldn't either. So we've got that out of the way. All right, good. I want to show you guys something, because like I take that card on the first floor over playable commons, with nothing in my deck that interacts with it at all, and people are like, premature Feel No Pain pick, and then it like works out with something and they're like, oh, gets rewarded again. I can't believe this streamer. So let's look at Toughbandages for a second, because I think this is a really good way to like compare and explain maybe. I think a lot of people recognize that Toughbandages is an incredibly strong silent relic. And I don't think that I need to talk that much about Toughbandages. I feel like this is like when people talk about the top 5 defensive relics in the game, I see Toughbandages on lists all the time. So hopefully a lot of you understand why this is, such a strong relic and whatever. Whenever you discard a card during your turn, gain 3 block. Cool. So it's this cool source of block or whatever. That's cool. It doesn't get hit by Frail, which is really nice. It just comes up all the time. Look at this. Silent has tons of discarded card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, calculated gamble's insane with Toughbandages because it discards your entire hand, of course. It's 5, 6. I mean, Silent has entire decks built around discarding cards, right? So it must have tons and tons of cards which are just built around discarding 7, 8. So Silent has 8 cards with the word discard written on them in relation to like the card actually letting you discard something. So 8 out of 75 cards, I believe Silent has. That's interesting. Okay. So Feel No Pain is an uncommon. It's not like a relic or something. It's just a card that you'll see, like at the end of fighting, a couple of lice in a hallway, you might see a Feel No Pain. And if you play this during a fight, whenever a card is exhausted, gain 4 block, and that's like cool. But I don't know, is the Ironclad really defined by exhaust in the way that Silent might be defined by discard? It doesn't really seem like it, right? There's like 1 card that exhausts, 2 cards that exhaust, 3, 4, 5. That makes all of your skills exhaust, so I guess that's 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, rounding up slightly, very slightly, a third of Ironclad cards a third of them either like exhaust themselves or exhaust other cards in your hand. I didn't even like count Dark Embrace when I was counting that. This is not like something that you can contain to certain decks which are about exhausting. Like every Ironclad card exhausts. That was obviously exaggeration. There are some which do not. It's just everywhere. Like, you get through the commons and there aren't that many commons which are exhausting, and that's fine, but so many uncommons and rares for Ironclad are defined by exhausting. And if you have a Feel No Pain in your deck, all of a sudden, all of these are creating you block. And so when I put it in my deck on like the first floor with no exhaust cards, I'm not like assuming that I'm gonna get lucky and end up with an exhaust archetype. I'm just like logically concluding that I'm going to keep playing the game and get offered card choices for Ironclad, and a third of them have exhaust written on them. It's just that simple. And this card is ridiculous when your cards exhaust. It's absolutely insane. That 4 block that you're getting is not affected by Frail. It upgrades to 6 block, which is ridiculous. This, currently on Beta Branch, there's an Ascender's Curse, which starts in your deck, and that actually self-exhausts. There are other curses in the game which exhaust. There are status effects that enemies put in your deck which exhaust. And there are all these cards which exhaust. There are relics which interact with exhaust. This is... like, it's not... it's not like a specific card which fills a specific niche in Ironclad or something, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like you have a deck with lots of exhaust in it and then you start thinking, Feel No Pain might be good. It's like you start a run and you're playing Ironclad, and with this card pool, Feel No Pain's insane. Always. That's just what the cards say. They exhaust. So obviously, once you take the Feel No Pain, these cards which do exhaust go up in value more than they were before, but even if you weren't valuing them particularly highly, you probably end up with tons of exhaust in your deck. And Feel No Pain is the mitigation engine for a lot of the Ironclad decks that I end up with. I don't really worry too much about having, block cards and stuff like that. I don't care about Barricade. People like get excited about Barricade and Trench and stuff like that. Typically, I haven't found that to be anywhere near as strong as just having Feel No Pain in play. And then any turn that you need to make 40 block, if you get a couple of Feel No Pains in play, 40 block, it's not an issue. Throw a Corruption in there, you can slap a Corruption down halfway through the fight, and then every skill in your deck makes you 12 extra block when you play it, from your 2 Feel No Pain plus. How do you lose? How do you lose? So... Feel No Pain is incredible. Feel No Pain is a card that is... there are like, maybe... I don't know. There might be 5 cards in Ironclad that I could consider taking over Offering, which is, I think, Offering is the strongest card in the game, and I think most people agree with that. It gains you energy and it draws you 3 cards, and it's just insane. And Feel No Pain's actually one of the cards that I would consider taking over Offering. Because the things you need in this game are like a backloaded approach to dealing damage. So for that, I might consider taking a Demon Form or a Limit Break over Offering if I was still lacking that and like heading toward the conclusion of the run, desperately needed a way to, scale up and beat a boss. I could see taking Demon Form or Limit Break or something like that over Offering. And you need Mitigation to survive fights. And for that, there are 2 centerpiece cards that do that better than anything else in Ironclad, and they are Feel No Pain and Reaper. Reaper, if you have a deck with a lot of strength, scales up and heals you for so much that you can just play Reaper at the end of the fight and you're full health again. It doesn't matter if you took a bit of damage. And the other thing you need is like front-loaded damage, but Offering does front-load for you because it gains you 2 energy and draws you 3 cards. So that's basically it. Like, this is one of the top 5 Ironclad cards, in my opinion, and I feel very comfortable with that. And you should basically always be putting it in your deck when you get it. Unless you're, like, right about to fight the Act 3 boss and don't have any exhaust, and you know that you're not fighting Donu Deka, because even if you don't have any exhaust in your deck, if somehow you went the entire run building your deck with only the 52 out of 75 Ironclad cards which don't exhaust. If somehow you did that, if you're fighting Donu Deka, they put Dazes in your deck, so you should still fucking take Feel No Pain. It's it's that ridiculous. It'll make you like 16 block over the course of the fight for 1 energy. That's really good. That's just really good. So, sorry, I've become animated. Feel No Pain's a very, very, very strong card, and I think that I certainly understand why a lot of people, you know, I understand why it's not immediately apparent to someone sitting down to play the game that Feel No Pain is a very strong card, because exactly what it does isn't clear, and the way that what Metallicize does is clear, and sure, that makes sense. But I think that if you put it upon yourself to sit down and work out, is this card good or not, and you look at the Ironclad card pool, and you think about like what reasonably you could expect this card to do, you know, a third of these cards are exhausting themselves or exhausting a different card when you play them, and you know, you probably play like 3 or 4 cards a turn, so it's probably, even if you do not work out any way whatsoever to make this card stronger than usual, it's probably making you 4 block a turn where Metallicize was making you 3 block a turn. Even if you're like not trying to make it good, even like just accidentally. And there aren't really many ways to make Metallicize really good, but there are certainly quite a few ways to make Feel No Pain really good. So, this card's insane. Pick Metallicize too. Metallicize is great too. But yeah, like, I go to the first store in Act 1 with no exhaust cards in my deck and then buy Feel No Pain for 70 gold. That's, like, the level of ridiculousness that I consider this card to be. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the chat about Feel No Pain. Do check out the Discord or stop by the Twitch channel. Don't be a stranger. Say hi or leave a comment in the YouTube comments. I love responding to all the comments that you guys are leaving on these videos. Love to hear your thoughts. And I will be back tomorrow with another daily Slay the Spire chat. See you guys around. Bye-bye.